Okay, so after you've made your title page, today we are going to be discussing the preamble and part of Article 1 in the Constitution. And you guys went over the preamble yesterday on your own. I didn't have you go over Article 1, that's okay, but you did do the preamble. The preamble in the Constitution is something you will need to have memorized by the end of the Constitution. It's not very long. It's one sentence, basically. It says, "We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity, do ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America." All right, so we're going to break this down. This is the purpose of the Constitution. We are going to break it down and discuss what each section of what each part means so you understand it a little bit better. Like I said, you will be having to memorize it. We're taking a quiz tomorrow over the stuff we do in class today, and at the end I'm going to have you, try to do the preamble and see what you can do. So you need to start working on memorizing the preamble. All right, so be prepared for that. All right, so we'll start with the first part of the preamble. Okay, we the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union. That's the part we're going to talk about. To form a more perfect union. As you were reading that, if you were paying close attention to the closer look charts that they give you throughout there, what does it mean to do this? What were they meaning when they were putting this in the Constitution as their purpose? What did they mean? Candace, you'll need to get a book or have someone get you a book. What did they mean to form a more perfect union? Peyton, what did they mean?
What?
Form a more perfect union. What did they mean? Okay, so they want to create a nation in which states work together. For example, interstate roads. Okay, Interstate 80. That road goes all the way across the entire country. You've got a road network. They wanted to have the country work together. The money system we have. The entire country uses the same money system. Okay, so the coins and the paper money, they wanted to make sure that our nation, the different states, work together. So those are different samples and examples of things that would make our country work together. Okay, so they wanted to form a more perfect union. That was one of their purposes of this. Okay. And when they say "we the people," when they were writing the Constitution, who were they speaking about when they said "we the people"? Drew? White men. All right. There's a statement by Barbara Jordan there on page 248. She's an African American woman, and it said, "In 1787, I was not included in that 'we the people.' But through the process of amendment, interpretation, and court decision, I have finally been included in 'we the people.'" All right, she's a congresswoman from Texas. So at first, not everyone was included. It took quite a bit of time for everyone to actually be included in this 'we the people' statement. All right. The next one we're going to take a look at is the established justice. And if you fall behind, take a look at the chart in your book. Established justice. What does it mean? What did they mean when they said established justice? Lauren, what did they mean? They wanted to make laws and set up courts that were fair. So that would be your court system, all the way from the Supreme Court down as low as you can go to the different smaller courts throughout the state, civil courts. A jury system. The jury system is a system of the members of the jury would be peers. When we get to a little bit farther in the Constitution, we'll talk more about the jury system, but this would be your established justice part, court system, making sure that everybody is abiding by laws. So we've got, in order to form a perfect union, establish justice, and the next one is to ensure domestic tranquility. I'm going through this one fast, the preamble fast, because it is a chart right there in your book. So, to ensure domestic tranquility, what do we mean by that, Bromley? Ensure domestic tranquility.
Keep peace within the country.
Yeah, when you use the word domestic, it's within your own, kind of like when you hear the word domestic violence, it's within your own home. So when we're talking domestic as far as country is concerned, we mean within our own country. So to ensure domestic tranquility is to keep peace within our country. And things like that would be your National Guard, your U.S. Marshals that work within the, like a police type of system that work within the police force. They will make sure to try to keep peace within the country when, not the Comanche police, not a small police force, but your larger police forces, National Guard. For instance, when Hurricane Katrina happened, the National Guard was sent there to do many things, but among them was to keep peace and stop people from rioting and things like that, but also to provide help, but also to keep peace and make sure bad things don't happen within our own country. When the LA riots took place, the National Guard was sent to try to maintain and keep peace within our country. Okay. Kind of going along with domestic tranquility, but a little bit more out there would be your next one of providing for the common defense. And what do we mean by that, Dustin? To provide for the common defense.
Safeguard the country against attack.
Yes, it's to protect our country from attack. And we have the Army, the Navy, the military, all those guys, the Coast Guard. They're going to protect us against attack. 9/11.
What about TSA?
Yeah, Homeland Security, places like that, yes. Zach?
So this all is from Preamble. They sort of made it all happen.
The preamble was, when they were writing the Constitution, but you needed to have a preamble, kind of like an introduction, the purpose, this is what they were writing the country for. We're writing this, we the people are writing this because we want to make sure our country is works together. We want to make sure laws are set for people. We want to make sure there's peace within our country. We want to make sure our country is safe from attack. So that's why we're writing this.
So
That's what they wrote.
With the preamble, because we made all of this happen.
Say that again.
Then everything that's been set up there sort of goes in with the preamble because it has that introduction.
Yeah, and you'll see all of this stuff within the Constitution in a different way. Yeah. Okay. Good. 9/11, you had the Army and the Navy and the military all dispatched immediately to keep us, to protect us from any more terrorist attacks. The next one, to promote the general welfare. Okay, Mallory, what do they mean by that?
Contribute to the happiness and well-being of all people.
Yeah, they wanted to make sure to promote the general welfare is to contribute to the well-being of everyone in the country to make sure everybody's all happy. And so that kind of goes into different things with, you've got our welfare system, which has kind of gotten a little bit out of control. I would imagine, according to if the framers of the Constitution saw how our welfare system worked, they probably would say that's not what we meant by that. They want to give aid to the poor and be able to help our people that are in need, but it has gotten a little bit out of control.
Are you referring to the Bush administration or the Obama administration?
I would say the Obama administration, in my opinion.
Because the Medicare actually worked?
Well, I'm referring to people getting so much money and things that...
Oh, yeah, that's what
Yeah.
I mean.
Oh,
so
yeah.
Medicare actually worked.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, right. I don't know if anyone's been paying attention, but there is talk about the repealing of the Obamacare Act. Did you see that, Garrett?
Yeah, there was also that last year.
Well, this time it's getting a little bit closer. Like, they're getting more serious about it now
Yeah.
because of the president lying and all that stuff. So pay close attention to the news if you haven't been lately.
More
The president lying.
the American public about it.
He did.
I did, however, watch a Fox News thing on it.
Mhm.
Oh my God. The,
Last night?
No, it wasn't last night. I was watching it online. The popularity of Obamacare getting repealed is astronomically high.
Yeah.
And like the distrust for Obama right now is at 45%.
Mhm.
And that's the same percentage it was when he first mentioned Obamacare.
Yeah. They're not. People aren't. The country's not happy about it right now. But we'll see what ends up happening. So, but initially, when the framers wrote this, they wanted to be able to help the poor, the people that needed that help. Okay? They didn't want our people to take advantage of the system. They wanted people to be able to be helped. And so they did want that. It is in the Constitution. But at some point it started to be a little bit taken advantage of, in my opinion. On the last part here, it says to secure the blessings of liberty. Think about what the word liberty means, and what do they mean by that? Drake Dotson, what do they mean by that?
Make sure future citizens remain free.
You make sure your future citizens are remaining free, and that would be, you had your different civil rights amendments in the Constitution. You had your slavery, your women's rights, and things like that, and they wanted to make sure future citizens. And it's odd, it's kind of interesting how that gets put in there when they were referring to we the people. They weren't referring to everybody, but they wanted to make sure to secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity. So I think that's kind of interesting how they wanted to make sure that future citizens remain free, but they weren't referring to everyone at the time. So it's very interesting. God bless you. So, our preamble, it's one sentence long. It's something that you need to start working on. Maybe record it and listen to it over and over again, or keep reading it over and over again, because you are going to have it memorized. And starting tomorrow on our first quiz, you're going to get started on seeing how much you can get down. So you need to have that memorized, get busy on that. So we the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity, do ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America. All right? So, we're going to get started on the actual Constitution. We're going to move into Article 1. Okay, look on 249. Article 1 is titled the Legislature. Remember the three branches? Well, each article, each branch has an article. The Legislature, all right? They did not put main idea in the Constitution. This is to help you. The main idea here for the Legislature is it's the main role of Congress. All right, it's the legislative branch. It's to make laws. All right, Congress is made up of two houses, the Senate and the House of Representatives. Candidates for each house have to meet certain requirements, and Congress performs certain duties. They also call those delegated powers. Okay, we're going to start with the House of Representatives, but I want you to take a look at Section 1 of Article 1 real quick. It says, Section 1, Congress, all legislative powers herein granted shall be vested in a Congress of the United States, which shall consist of a Senate and a House of Representatives. So Section 1 of the Constitution, Article 1, Section 1 basically says we have a Congress, and within Congress is the Senate and House. Boom. Okay. Section 2 is all about the House of Representatives, and within that it talks about, how they're elected, the different qualifications, how many representatives each get, and what happens if there's a vacancy, and different things like that. So I'm going to give you a little bit of time right now to take a look on 249, just through Section 2, even take a look at the crossed out stuff. What did we say yesterday it meant when something is crossed out in the Constitution, James? It does not, it's not used anymore because actually if you take a look at the crossed out stuff, it talks about slaves and the 3/5 compromise and things. We don't have slaves anymore, so we crossed that part out, but it's important to know what it did say. So take a look at Section 2, and I want you to really pay close attention to how they're elected, different qualifications to be a member, and different representation. So I'll give you a little bit of time to look through that. When you read through it, it's confusing because it's just, it just doesn't say this is how old you have to be. It has to use their funky terminology the way they spoke back then. So we're going to start with requirements in the House of Representatives. And as you read through there, there's qualifications. You can keep your book open, Don. You can keep that open. There's qualifications in order to be a representative. Not everybody can be a representative. Okay. For the House of Representatives, they call their members congressmen. So if you hear someone say congressman or congresswoman, that is someone from the House of Representatives. Senator is obviously someone from Senate. So to address someone from the House of Representatives, you call them congressman or congresswoman. So what is the age requirement to be a representative? Dustin? Yeah, and it's in the way they said it was, no person shall be a representative who shall not have attained to the age of 25 years. It doesn't just say, you must be 25. Why can't it just say that, right? That would be too easy. But, yeah, you must be at least 25. So it's quite young to be a congressperson. The age is 25, and the what it talks about having what type of where you have to live to be a representative. If I'm a representative representing Iowa, can I live in Florida? Where do I have to live? I have to live in Iowa. You have to live in the state in which you're elected. President Obama, well, he wasn't a representative; he was a senator. But it's the same for senators. He was a senator in Illinois, had to live in Illinois. So I have to live here. And the other thing it talks about is being a United States citizen. And what is the requirement, Bromley? You must be a citizen for 7 years. So that tells you that you don't have to be a natural-born citizen. As long as you have been a citizen of the United States for 7 years, you are able to become a congressperson. All right. So that's a little bit more on that. So that's your little bit of some of the requirements and what it takes to become a representative. So if you're shooting for something like being a representative, you can do this at the age of 25, but I would suggest you start getting involved in things such as student council, getting on school board, becoming a city council member, and kind of working your way up. It's hard. It's difficult to just go, boom, I want to be in the House of Representatives. Any of your state representatives. Zach?
I was trying something,
Yeah?
and it's saying, at first it kept saying internal server.
Is it done now?
Now it says I already posted it.
Okay, then you're good to go. Term of office. How many years does a representative serve for? How many years, Dylan, does a representative serve for? What's the term of office? I think it says that in clause number 1 underneath section 2. And it doesn't exactly say it. It's, you have to kind of infer it by how you read it a little bit. Read clause 1 where it says elections. Colby? 2 years. Says the House of Representatives shall be composed of members chosen every second year by the people of several states. Every second year. That means every 2 years. So they serve a 2-year term, but they don't have a limit. They can serve as many terms as they want. People question this and think that there should be a limit because there are people that have been serving as representatives and they're making a career out of it. And they've served their entire lives almost since they've been able to do so. And some people aren't liking that. Because there are a lot of issues with this. So there's no limit, but every 2 years they have to be revoted in. Yeah, but some people don't pay attention, so they just vote them because they've been in there forever. Okay, representation. And you should know this from paying close attention to the Virginia plan. Number of members. The number of members each state gets is based upon what? How do we determine how many members each state gets, Garrett?
Population.
It's based on state population. Here is a map. It's tough to see, but this is a current map based on the last census, 2010, stating how many representatives each state gets. The red states, which you can't tell, but Iowa is one of those red states. Since the last census, we lost representatives. The blue states, there was no change, and there's the other one. There's gained. The darker ones gained representatives because they had a change in population. So Iowa has 4 representatives. California has 53. You see, it's based upon population. Huh? You keep going. 8 to 10 is the minimum. You just keep going. Yep.
How does Alaska have?
Alaska has. I lied when I said 3. They have 1. I guess the minimum's 1.
And it says they gave.
Yeah,
I don't know about that. All right, let's take a look at impeachment. Okay, it gives you a definition of impeachment there. I want you to tell me what is impeachment. What does it mean to impeach somebody? Dylan?
You should have the sole power of small choice.
No. What does impeachment mean? What's the word mean itself? What's impeachment mean? Well, look, it's in there. There's a vocabulary list at the top on the right.
The process accusing a public official or of wrongdoing.
So impeachment means to accuse a public official of wrongdoing. Within the House of Representatives, they have a job as far as impeachment goes. The Senate has a job. What is the responsibility of the House of Representatives? What's their job as far as impeaching goes? What do they get to do? PJ?
I'll choose your speaker and officers.
No, that's something different. We want to talk about impeachment. Hunley? What's it say about impeachment for the House of Representatives? Still on 249. Well, I'm just telling everybody else. Buddha? They have the sole power. That means they are the ones that do the accusing. So I'm gonna write this down to help you a little bit better understand it. The House does the accusing. Is that right? Is that how you spell that? Yep. The House does the accusing because impeachment means the accusing of a public official of wrongdoing. Bill Clinton was impeached. Okay? Meaning the House of Representatives accused him of wrongdoing, perjury. Okay? Which means to lie in the court. Okay? So they accused him of wrongdoing. It's not over then. It has to go to a trial. And the Senate will be involved in that later. So we're going to come back to the Bill Clinton impeachment, Zach.
What was the thing that Sam just told me to say?
Well, we're going to come back to that when we get to the Senate. Garrett?
Did you know that Lincoln's vice, who later became president after Lincoln died, was impeached and then threatened Congress, and then Congress backed down on it?
Yes, I do. It's interesting how things work.
Yeah, I saw that and I just kind of laughed.
Oops, here is the House of Representatives. I know it's a little bit of a dark picture. It's huge. There are 435 members in the House of Representatives. Now up here, they're seating up here. These are not members of the House. These are people that can go up there. You could go there if you'd like to. Meet members of the media. So if you're ever at the Capitol building and you want to go in, you can. We don't go as a whole group because we're such a large group and it takes there's quite a bit of security that you go through to do so. And so we won't go in there, but if you ever get a chance, I would just sit through and see how things go. I've been in there. It's kind of neat. Garrett?
Every representative in every senator gets their own seat.
Yes. And they're not in there all the time. They're not in very often together. Yeah, they're not in there together all that often. When I went there, there was somebody speaking about some sort of bill, and there was probably a couple people listening, and I thought, it's going to be neat. There wasn't very many people in there. Drew?
What's the one government branch where, there's, a bunch of, countries, they all...
That's the United Nations. That's not part of the branch, though. Okay, now what we're going to do, let's see, tomorrow...